This week, we're going to be talking about the two most common plotting methods that are taught in writing courses and curriculum. The first is actually the easiest, and that's called the flashcard method. No, it's not a flashcard. I don't have those since I'm a pantster. So I just cut a piece of paper to demonstrate to you. On the top of the card, you're supposed to write whether this is a location, whether it's a character, whether it is a plot point that you want to reach, and underneath you write bullet points. If it's a character that you want doing something in this particular scene, you'll write that. This was the method I said last week that I had the hardest time with, and this is the easiest one. But I don't like plotting, and I can't reduce anything down to just bullet points. Anyway, this one is more easy to do since you can change it as you want. Some people take the cards and they'll put them on a table and then they'll shuffle them around as they want to see what actually fits better. Others will take Post-it notes, and I've seen them put it on their wall, and then they can just take it down and move it around as they want. So in that respect, it gives you some more flexibility than the next method, which is actually called the snowflake method. And as you see, a snowflake is rather complicated. And from the center is where you will go out to do different points. But you start with the basic triangle. If you see, everything kind of has a triangle that's in the center of it. And the snowflake method is called that because no plot and story is supposed to be alike, just like no snowflakes are, supposed to be alike. But the snowflake method is actually based upon the pyramid that Freitag came up with. Now, you've probably heard of Freitag. I'm sure you've heard of things where you talk about, you have your beginning, you have your exposition, then you have your rising action, you have your climax, your falling action, and then your conclusion. That's Freitag. Freitag put it all into a pyramid style, and that becomes the center of the snowflake method. But Freitag based his method actually on the Greeks. The Greeks are actually the ones that came up with the 3 acts, which is still followed today, beginning, middle, and end. So the snowflake method I find to be convoluted, because from that triangle, then you're supposed to add the plot here, a character there, action here, action there, resolution, and you just keep going out, and it keeps getting more complicated and diverse, which, yes, stories are supposed to do that, but if you, the author, are plotting your story, you need to have some continuity as to where you're going. So I'm not a big proponent of the snowflake method. If you have to plot, I would recommend the flashcard method. It's simpler, you can move it around. Even though it was difficult for me to do as a pantster, that is the simplest of the two. Now, as I said last week, still remember, when you're plotting, plot is not the story. That is what you're structuring your story upon. That's what both are being used for, the flashcards and the snowflake method. Don't start to do descriptive narrative and throw that in there with your plotting on using either one of these. That's for the actual writing adventure that you're going to take with your story. That's when you'll flush it out there. Just use these for your normal plotting points. So next week I'm going to be talking about character. So until then, have a blessed day.